Hey everybody, thanks for watching. And just a quick reminder that Merkabah catalog is now available. So it will be available for 24 hours starting right now. Got a lot of emails from people, a lot of people asking that I post it for this weekend, but I'm going to post it for 24 hours right now. And if you want it, you better get it now because 24 hours, it's going to go down. 24 hours, get it right now. It's going to be the last time it's going to be up. It's going to go back to that price that it was. So, thanks to everybody who took advantage, and it's more than worth it. Of course, this is over, $2-3 grand worth of videos, and the time, like, let's not even get into all that. It's so much time. Just years of work or what have you. Everything I put out, $89, $89.99, $90. So take advantage. You'll never see it again. I promise you that. So just to get you guys caught up and get people into a lot of the videos that I put out prior, a lot of the new people, it does come with the order to watch list, so you'll know where to start. But yeah, thanks for taking advantage of that. I want to get into this video because, a lot of you guys been hitting it up, and we talk about this a lot, especially me now. I live in Vegas, I live in LA, and being in Vegas, everybody's talking about Jon Gruden. So you guys know what I'm talking about, the Raiders head coach, and, emails surfaced of over 7 years of him, racial, slurs or insensitive racial emails and transgender, homophobic, or what have you, all kinds of stuff. But, it's one of those things where you gotta understand. Of course, as Black people, we're going to look at it and say, well, we're not surprised. Of course, they are racist, so on and so forth. But you have to couple that with everything else. You got to look at the setup, and you got to look at, okay, we've been having this whole cancel culture for a while now. It's been an ongoing trend of people who say something and they're done. Roseanne. I mean, everybody was shocked that they cut Roseanne out of Roseanne. And nobody would think they would do that because of her, remarks. And now it's Connors. And you have so many people who have said racial stuff. It's been happening over the years. And it's cut. And if you understand how they operate, it's always a long trail of something to justify something that's going to be real serious later on. So we're seeing this whole cancel culture. And what Jon Gruden said, of course, like everybody's saying, well, let's go back and look at all the emails from the executives he's been talking to. Let's look at the owners' emails. Guarantee you we're going to find the same stuff. We're going to see the same type of talk in most of the jobs you work at, or the NBA, basketball, baseball, football, doesn't matter. And you're going to see that because it's out there. Us, Black folks, we know. We be with our friends and we talk a lot of shit about white folks. We say all kinds of shit that to us we feel justified in saying because of, history. And it doesn't mean that we are racist against white folks. We're speaking the truth. And it is what it is. We supposedly have the freedom of speech. You're supposed to be able to say what you're saying and so on and so forth. But for somebody like him, and this is where, you look deeper, somebody like Jon Gruden, you're talking about a rich white man who, dude, Black people help you get to where you are. Minorities help you get to where you are. You have all this money and power. What the fuck is you worried about? Like, why would you say something like that? What is the point? Why would your feelings, or what are we doing to stop you from being rich and successful and powerful? What is it? Like, why would you even put that out there, being in a position that you are, and even say something like that? And it's crazy. But we've been seeing it. Seen it happen with the baby. You see Dave Chappelle talk about it on his special, and then everybody's going crazy. Oh, cancel Dave Chappelle, which that's not going to happen. And we've been seeing it. And all of that is to get us prepared for the censorship, which we have been also seeing on YouTube and across the internet. And we see the algorithm and how powerful it is with Corona, because as soon as you type it in or say shots or what have you, they can actually put a link. They just jump right in and put a link on your shit or take it down. And if we have it to where we're on the internet, and we say a word and they can, use a program to search that word and put a link or a disclaimer or take down what we say, we don't have freedom of speech. That's crazy. That's preparing us for what's to come. Plain and simple. Censorship. It's something the President Biden has already been talking about. It's something it started with the Trump administration, and it's something that's coming, and we're seeing it more and more. Stuff being taken down. Even more so lately, like if I'm commenting back on Facebook or on Instagram, I leave a comment, just talking shit with my friends, like how we normally talk, calling them a funny name. Like Facebook will like, hey, do you sure you want to leave this comment? Or Instagram would be like, you want to leave this comment is in line with other comments we found insensitive or what have you. Reword your comment. You see it's happening. It's probably happened to you guys. We see what's coming because they're going to have to stop this information and the flow of it. It's one of the reasons why, again, I'm putting out everything. I'm putting out everything for everybody to get it now, because eventually that flow is going to stop and we don't know what type of censorship is going to take place or what's going to happen. So, freedom of speech, as we seen when my video was taken down and I was banned basically from posting videos for a week on here on YouTube, from saying stuff that's backed up by actual facts. So you got to put a disclaimer and warn people that, hey, this video is such and such, but we'll see how long that flies. But this whole thing is like where so many people are shocked and it's creating a lot of debates. People saying who's racist and so on and so forth. We know as black folks, come on, we've been through this. We know the racism is out there. And me personally, like even with the Colin Kaepernick thing, like I said, we don't know if that whole thing was a setup because it's real suspicious. But even still, I keep saying this, like we as black folks got to stop being bought. As long as we can be bought, they got us. They can say the most crazy thing they want to say to us and then pay us off and everything's fine, and we laugh and joke about it, but it's the truth. And here you have a chance for us to really, as black people, do something amazing and take a real stand against racism, and just to say that we're not going to tolerate this on any capacity. You have Colin Kaepernick, who's taking a knee. He took a knee against police brutality and against unarmed, innocent black people being killed by cops. And why would anybody protest this? And the rest of these fucking niggas stood their ass up with their hand over their heart and said, fuck that nigga. You got a couple people who took knees. Every black person or even mixed or what have you should have took a fucking knee when he took that knee to say what he was saying. And you had white people joining. We had white people across other sports joining. And we see with the marches, they marched. That was a chance to take power. Do you understand what would have happened if black people took a stand and just, we're not playing football no more till something gets done? This is what we talk about with economics and power, where we don't have any. And where now we have an opportunity where, despite us not having any, where we can force, legislation a different way, to where if they would have took a knee and be like, we're not doing this. And you know how much these white folks love football. If the, black college kids, we're not playing until something gets done. And then everybody follows suit that's black and in power. Everything change that quick. But these niggas can be bought. And it's always been the problem. They can be bought. Or, niggas just have their own opinion because they're ignorant about what's taking place. What was he saying that you could debate as a black person? You can disagree with how he chose to do it, but what other way could he do it to where he would get the kind of attention that he got? He took a knee during the national anthem, and the national anthem that's written by a slave owner. And we know the second part of that whole song is talking about, glorifying the killing of slaves and controlling slaves. But we're supposed to, stand and, say this whole thing. And we have been doing so for a long time. And we still haven't gotten any type of justice or what have you. And we had a chance to do something about it. We didn't. So even still, it's one of those things where you can't just, pick one thing to speak against and just say, it was like the whole thing with Gucci. Everybody was like, oh, well, we're not wearing Gucci no more. Okay, well, we're not going to wear Gucci. We can't wear nothing else. If we're not going to use Dove because of racist ads or whoever, Gap or what have you, then we can't use nothing else, because all of these companies are owned by racist white folks who don't give a shit about us, who have said exactly what John Gruden was talking about in his emails, except for theirs haven't been put on blast like that. But we know it is what it is. And we choose to still follow this stuff and not support the up and coming black entrepreneurs who sell clothes and shoes or what have you, and, patronize them instead of these racist corporations. So you can't just, because something is trending, jump on that problem and say, I want to talk about this because everybody else talking about it. The argument with George Floyd and all the other killings of unarmed black people was, well, y'all don't protest when y'all kill each other. The crime rate in the black community is through the roof. Black on black crime is crazy high, especially in Philadelphia. And we're not marching for that. So it's like, it looks so, not genuine when we act like we care when a white cop kills a black person. Why don't we act like we care when a black person kills a black person? And as I said before, we understand the hood and what that's about. We understand how stuff work. They won't never really comprehend that, but there's truth to that. Now, as I said before, the cameras are just not there when we're marching about stop black on black crime. The cameras are not pointed there, so all of America don't see when you have marches, because I participated in a few, when we have whole marches and people walking with signs and people who is going through the community centers. And, we had the Pile in North Philly. And if you're from the Pile, from North Philly, you know about the Pile that's over there by 23rd and Berks, where Meek Mills and all them grew up. Everybody went to the Pile. We played ball. We had, people at the Pile that it's a place for you to go at school. So you don't get caught up in a gang. You don't get caught up in any crazy stuff. You have somewhere to go and chill and meet people and be cool. And it was straight. We don't have stuff like that anymore. And mainstream media don't show that you have, clubs and you have people, black folks out here trying to give black people or black kids, young black boys or what have you, teenagers, a place to go after school to do something, but it's a problem due to lack of funding. And that's an issue. So the whole thinking behind it was, Pile the Police Athletic League, for those who are wondering or who may not know, but it's a place to go after school to either do your homework or, just chill away from being on the streets and around trouble. You're somewhere where you're going to be protected and everybody's cool and it's just there to get to know each other. And the whole thinking behind it, if you have fun with these people there and get to know the people in your neighborhood, you're less likely to, get into any crazy activity with them out on the street. Stuff like that exists. Cameras are not pointed at that. Cameras are not pointed to all the marches and the peace on the streets and so on and so forth. So when they put out a story like this, or when people say stuff like, why don't we protest black on black crime? We do. You just don't see it. There's this thinking amongst, black athletes or what have you and they're taught this, they're told stay away from the hood, don't go back and be around people who you grew up with that's doing bad things. They're going to pull you in and get you in trouble. And that's true in a lot of cases. Everybody's going to just be asking you for money and have their hands out. And these athletes, when they're young, they take courses, how to manage their money. Basically, don't put money in here. Or, well, if you put a store in a black community, they're just going to rob it or break into it because you got money like that. You can afford to take care of it, so on and so forth. They really deter black entrepreneurs, black sports entrepreneurs, away from the black community that they came from, where they know what's going on there. And poverty is high and people need help. And it's the thinking that, black on black crime is high. If I go there, they don't really care about each other. So why should I? I made it out. I got my money. Let me go. But I can understand somebody knowing where they came from and knowing that it's a lot of people up to no good and you're cautious. But when you have an opportunity like this that I see to where we can really change things, we missed the ball. We dropped the ball on that because there is no promotion of this. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we haven't seen. We haven't never seen it before. And nobody's promoting it, something so huge as us just not playing no more. us just stopping and we not realizing how big of a deal that would be. So it's one of those things to where, if you're trying to go on strike at a job and you need change and you want to raise and y'all getting worked to death and people are content with what they got. But, you're like, well, wait a minute. If we all walk off the job, they need us. They're going to have to pay. And you got people that's like, I'm cool. Well, I don't want to risk it or what have you, no risk, no reward. And it's like, you have to really look at the opportunity was presented with Kaepernick and that whole situation. And then I feel like this is just another situation and the stuff that we keep going through as, black folks, that we got to continually deal with this racism, this racist thing. And it's something, as I said, they're going to use to just censor everything. Because to me, I don't agree, of course, with anything he said, if you read any of the emails or heard about what he was saying. But this whole, privacy thing and shit that's said in the manner of jokes or to stay in, let's just say, good terms with the person or to basically be a part of what you see is going on, regardless of how you really feel. It's a culture or atmosphere of a group of people you're around that you want to be around for whatever reason, and you need to participate in what's happening. It's a moral aspect to it, obviously. And it's a whole, nobody's going to believe that shit aspect as well. So you wouldn't jump into something this controversial and racist if that's not who you are. You must be a racist person. And then he's sending emails with a super high ranking person over there and the NFL. And it's like, this is obviously what they get together and talk about, and the way he's sending the emails in a way that it's just like easily, this is something we talk about all the time. And it goes back to my whole point of, for what? What the fuck? Y'all got everything. Y'all millions. Y'all got whatever y'all want. What are y'all talking about this for? And this goes into the whole thing that we always been saying. It's slaves. A lot of people have pointed this out millions of times. It's the same way it was during slavery. Look at the combine. It's just picking slaves. They go ahead, nigga, run. Let's see how fast you can run. Let's see how high you can jump. Let's see how strong you are, nigga. I want you on my team. It's the same thing. It's just they paying these motherfuckers. But it's the same thing. And that's the problem. We always get it mixed up because we see white folks doing it. Well, white folks were slaves as well. But we see them doing it and we look at it, well, white people doing it, so it's fine. It's okay. But we got to stop putting ourselves in the same boat as them. We not. And that's the thing people always say, well, you don't say that when white people do it. But white people listen to hip hop and they follow hip hop culture. No, they don't really. And no matter if they did, what they do is not going to affect them as a people or affect their economy. Just as simple. What we do affects us as a people and it affects our economy, the little economy that we have. So we can't put ourselves in that boat. But the fact that, and this is one of the reasons why the leaders had to go, we have no leaders to steer. All the leaders are bought off. We have no leaders to steer us in a direction when something like this happened and we could capitalize from it. Listen to the analysts and everybody that's on TV talking about this and how, not shocked or outraged they are, but it's just saddened and upset and they feel some type of way. But none of them niggas ain't quitting their job. Ain't nobody asking for something to be done or walk out or, take a knee, something. But it's just, it really goes back to everything that happened and everything that Colin Kaepernick was talking about and the whole point of the knee. And this is what, people are talking about in chat rooms, what have you right now. And there is, it's an understanding on a lot of people now that probably didn't have understanding before. I'm going to say white folks, because a lot of white folks are waking up to this fact. And they're seeing, this fucking country racist as hell. Because it's a lot of white folks that's been pointing out, well, how the hell the gays and the Asians get so much protection and just Black folks still get nothing. How is this being ignored? Like, this is like, come on. It's just so obvious. How is it being ignored that LGBTQ laws passed, protection, they're being cared for and talked about? And Asians, they go through a few months of a couple random people doing something crazy when we had shit. We've been lynched. Still being lynched. We got to go through all kinds of racist shit. Cops killing us. They've been beat up a couple times, left alive, beat up for a couple months, here and there, by random stupid people. Whole big fucking movement. Laws passed. Protect the Asians. Stop Asian hate. Nobody stepped up and said, nah, stop all hate.